We've got a police chief on the line who's got things. Do you mind if we get started, team? How about it, Christy? I'm going to get it going. All right. So good afternoon, everybody. I am Chris Steinacher. I am President and CEO of the St. Petersburg Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us for a webinar on those new things we need to know. We're actually going to do a series of these in the next couple of weeks because as our state has changed its way of doing business on a few laws, we want to keep our businesses up to speed on them. So July 1st, there's some new things happening. Today's is about the permitless carry law that you're going to hear about, Police Chief. You are also going to be invited to come back for one if you have employees for the E-Verify ones and the new rules about who and how we get people signed up for the E-Verify system as well. So we're going to keep our businesses informed. We need the smartest businesses possible. It's hard enough to run your own business, but with rules changing, we just want to keep you up to date on that. So I appreciate you all coming out today. Thank you for joining us on a very important day to learn what Florida's new permitless carry law means for St. Pete. This is new rules, new information. This was not my idea. This was the police chief's idea because he really wants all of us to understand what the new permitless carry law requires. So when he called me about a month ago and he said, hey, Chris, I'm getting questions from businesses about what does this mean? How about if we all get together, we put something out and that we record it so that others will know it as well. There's a lot of facts about this, but there's also some myths about this as well. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to step off the microphone. I'm going to introduce Christy Bruner. Christy is our Vice President of Advocacy. She makes sure our businesses are the smartest in the community and our community is the smartest for our businesses. She's going to just set this up and introduce our police chief. And I will join us at the end for the Q&A. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and get ready to put those into the chat screen and write them down. We aren't going to we're not going to keep microphones live at this point. And then we're going to have the police chief present, and then we'll do some Q&A. So let's get those Q&A ready. And Christy, help us understand what we're going to learn today.
Thank you so much, Chris. And I did notice it says Florida permit mess carry. That's not a permit mess, it's permitless. So we'll just kick it off with that.
I didn't notice that. All right.
This is for Florida permitless carry law. So this was Florida House Bill 543 was signed into law on April 3rd of this year. And as it mentioned, it will begin to be implemented on July 1st of this year. So we really wanted to make sure that we heard from our subject area officials before that does kick in. So as indicated here, we are the 26th state to enact a permitless concealed carry law. And with this new bill, the majority of states do now have a permitless concealed carry law in act. So we wanted to make sure that we had all of the information. Some of the criteria are down below about what is needed to be considered for concealed carry, be a United States citizen, at least 21 years of age, and then having no disqualifying felony conditions, and also the misdemeanor domestic abuse charges. So we have some of the overlying information. We really wanted to get down on how that specifically applies to our businesses here in St. Petersburg and hear from our expert. So we are honored to have Chief Anthony Holloway here to help shine a light on some of the myths and facts of this new law pertaining to the business community. And as previously mentioned, please feel free to put your questions in the chat box and we will address all questions at the end of Chief Holloway's presentation. Thanks for being here.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Chris and Christine, for inviting me here today, and also the Chamber. This is very important for us, for the citizens, and for law enforcement to be aware of the new law that's going to come into effect July 1. We want to make sure that you're giving the best information possible so we can work together to make sure we can continue to make our city safe. They say the expert, I'm not an expert, but I'm just going to go over what I know to be out there. And if you have any other question, I would say in regard to your businesses, then you probably need to contact your legal advisor. I'm just going to go over the laws that are in place now, and then be free to ask me any questions you want, because we want to make sure that everybody's on the same sheet of music. So I want to say that to the sheriff and to all the other law enforcement agencies here in Pinellas County, we got together because we wanted to make sure that everybody in Pinellas County was aware of the new law and how we're going to go about doing this. We were able to not only put a public service announcement out, but we also put a brochure together so people could be made aware of it. So what I'm going to do in this short period of time is really go over the myth and the facts of permitless carry. And then again, hear from you because I know you probably have some questions that you want to answer. So the first thing is that people are thinking that permitless carry does not, and repeat, does not allow open carry. A lot of people are assuming coming July 1 that everyone can have open carry. That does not allow for open carry. People can carry a concealed weapon, just like somebody pulling a permit, but now you can carry, anyone can get a concealed weapon if they're over the age of 21, if they are a US citizen, and as Christine did earlier, if you meet those criteria about not being convicted of a felony and those other things. So I just want to make sure people are aware of that. It is not a right for open carry. The other thing is not everyone can get not everyone can carry a weapon. Again, they still have to get a background check before they purchase a weapon. So that's another thing. So you just can't go out and say, I'm going to get a gun now, I'm going to carry it. If you're going to buy a gun, you still have to go through the background check for that. The biggest thing for business owners, I just want to make sure that when people are asking, people do not, and I want to say this twice, people do not have a right to bring their weapons onto private property. I dropped off some information at the chamber. I know I'm going to share it with you later on about a sign that if you want to place this in your business, that's the best thing to do to advise your customers that they cannot come into your establishment with a weapon. There are some that are already outlined within the state statute where people cannot carry a weapon. But if you're a private business owner, you have a right to tell someone not to bring that weapon into your establishment. I'm going to talk more about that, how you go about doing that. So again, you cannot carry a gun anywhere you want. So with that being said, so the way it's going to work now is that when you as a business owner, you call in, you see someone in your business with a weapon, if you don't have the sign up in your business, we are still going to respond law enforcement, but it's not going to be what's called one of our priority calls. Because now that people can carry weapons, we will still respond to make sure they're carrying it lawfully, but it's not going to be a high priority call. Once we get there, it's going to be your responsibility if you want that person trespassed from your property, meaning you don't want that person to come back to your property anymore. I know there's a lot of bank people that we're talking to because right now in a bank, people that have a concealed weapons permit know they cannot carry a gun in there, but a lot of people are not going to go through the option of reading everything that's there. And that's what we're trying to do now, educate people, because a lot of people come July 1, they're just going to think, hey, I can get my holster, I can carry my gun, but you can't carry your gun into all the places you think. So I'm going to stop it right there because I know that's what we really want to talk about, because the business owners have a lot of questions about people bringing guns onto their property. So Chris, I'll stop right there to see if there's any questions.
So Chief, before there are some questions, I'm going to have Christy read those to you, but help us understand about, like, so you talk about, you know, if a property owner wants to put something put a sticker or a sign in their window, just tell a little bit more about what that does for you guys as well. You just said it may not be a priority, or it is. So help us understand what that does for the businesses when you have a sign in your window or a sticker on your window, or how you notify the public of what your intent is.
Thank you, Chris. And that's a great question. So you're notifying your customers coming in your business right away that you do not want a gun in there. And also when you call dispatch, you can tell us, hey, I have a sign in my business telling someone that I do not want a gun on my establishment. So that'll move it up in a priority call. Whereas if you're just saying, hey, there's someone in my business with a gun, again, we're going to respond, but that priority call is going to go down to our lowest priority calls that we have here. So Chris, thank you for that question. And again, it either can be a sticker or a placard, because what you're just doing, you're just educating people on saying, hey, I don't want you bringing my gun into this establishment. And that goes for everyone. Even if a person says, well, hey, I have a concealed weapons permit, they cannot bring that gun into the store. Me as a law enforcement officer, you still have the right to deny me access if I'm off duty, to not come into your business with a weapon.
Got it. Beautiful. So now, and just a follow up before I get to anything else on the signage themselves, have you been instructed or learned what should be said on the sign? Does the state of Florida or is there a source for the correct verbiage of a sign, or what did we learn about that at all?
And again, thank you. So I went around, I looked at several places, and I dropped something off at your office that I thought would be about the best thing to have. I also went to a lot of hospitals already have signs out saying, no guns allowed. It's just something that's letting the person know that he or she cannot bring a weapon onto the property. The sign that you have there also even says, even if you're a concealed weapons permit holder, you do not want that person bringing a gun onto your property.
Got it. Okay, cool. So and then we have a PDF that's in the chat right now that Christy's placed in there that is downloadable, that we also have hard copies of as well. So Christy, take it from here. I can't see the chat from where I'm at right now. Did we have any other questions, or did that clear those up, or?
Sure. We do have a question about the implications on the new policies as it deals with schools. Could you go over some information about that, Chief?
Sure. So schools are one of those things that you cannot have and I'll list the things here while I'm here. So it's polling place, courthouse, career centers, public college or universities, airport terminals, school, college, or professional athletic events are unrelated to firearms, meetings of a governing body, a municipality, court, school district or special district, law enforcement facility, detention and correction facility, elementary or secondary school or school administration building, bar portions of a restaurant, meeting of the legislation or legislation committee, and meeting of a governing body. So for the bar owners out there that have bars, again, if people are in your bars, if where you're serving alcohol, that is not permitted in that area.
Okay, and so when it used to be concealed, when people used to have to take the class to do that, bar owners, they were instructed that, but bar owners now probably need to make sure that they definitely have those signs up, because people may not have taken the class now and may not realize that's a rule about even just going into bars and restaurants. Is that correct, or?
That is correct, and that's our concern, that a lot of people will not take these classes about concealed weapon. They're just going to assume that they can carry, and they haven't gone through the process of reading the state statute. So again, Chris, I want to thank you and your group for educating people on this today.
Beautiful, got it. So Christy, was there any other questions on this?
Sure. We had another question asking, does this apply to people having a firearm in a personal vehicle on private property?
So you have a right to have you have a right to have a gun inside your vehicle. No one's going to search your vehicle. It just it's carried on your person. But you also need to read the state statute on when and where you can carry a gun inside your car.
Got it.
Perfect.
And so please, Chief, if an employee of an establishment sees somebody come in and they have a gun on their, concealed but visible but concealed, under their jacket or whatever, an employee sees it, they haven't posted a sign. There's really nothing they can do. If they have posted a sign, what do you recommend they do? How customer service training here, but any tips on just, so someone has walked in, you've placed a nice sign there. They may not have seen the sign or they may not be aware. Any suggestions of how to approach folks as they come into your place, understanding the new rules?
So customer service wise, we go up to the man or woman and say, sir, maybe you didn't see our sign, but in this establishment, we do not allow people to carry guns in here. So can you please go back out to your car or whatever and take your weapon there? If that person says, no, I'm not going to do that, that's fine. Please do not get in a confrontation with that person. Call 911, give us the description. When we get there, make sure either the employee or the manager can point the person out, because we'll issue that person a trespass warning. Again, we can't arrest that person for carrying that weapon, but we can trespass that person from the property.
Got it. Beautiful. All right, Christy, what else do we have?
Sure. There's a question about how can we ensure compliance, being that the weapon is concealed? How are we assuming that patrons will be self-governing themselves?
And again, that's going to be up to you and your legal advisor. Sometimes they call it what's called an accidental, where somebody may raise their arm or their gun is seen just because of the motion. Again, if you have the sign up, you can just tell the person, hey, we don't allow that in our establishment or our business. Can you please return that to your car or return it? And if that person says, no, I'm not going to do that, please do not get into a confrontation with that person, because they may not understand the law, because they're just saying, hey, I know my Second Amendment and I can carry a gun anywhere I want to. It's going to really take maybe, shouldn't say law enforcement, to come and educate that person. And then again, it's up to the owner or employee then decide if they want that person trespassed from their property.
Hey, Chief, when someone says they have a concealed weapon, what does concealed mean? Like, what is concealed? What does proper concealment mean?
Concealed means that it's not visible to the public. So again, it could be in a coat, it could be in a purse, it could be in a backpack. It just is where a normal person wouldn't see it. That you're hiding it from the person, but it's on your person.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Hey, Christy, any other questions for the chief?
Sure. There was a question about, maybe from your point of view, Chief, can you shed any light on what the public or community need was that instigated this law from the law enforcement side or the community side?
I cannot. I know people have a right to contact their state representatives, and that's what happened, and the law got passed. It's not my job to interpret the law. My job is just law enforcement, to enforce the law. So it's out there now. People saw a need, or since the legislature saw a need to pass this bill, and this is where we are, and this is what we're going to be governed by.
Absolutely. We appreciate that. There was a question about the best source for the concealed carry rules, and we did post that PDF, which will be very helpful, which is from all of the law enforcement agencies in Pinellas County. I can also post the bill language directly from the state legislature. But other than that, I think that about covers what the bill will be covering.
And if I understand this correct, Chief, it doesn't mean that people shouldn't, if they still want to have a concealed weapon, to ideally pursue the permit, because you can get educated, but also it provides the ability not to have to wait 3 days, because we still have a 3-day cooling period, if my understanding is. So someone just can't go buy a gun on July 1st and have it on July 1st in wherever they're going. But if you have a concealed weapon permit and you buy another gun, you don't have to wait that 3 days as well. So I think what we're trying to do is educate people on, if you do want a firearm, and the best opportunity is to get educated on it, because it provides some additional benefits. And then if you're not educated on it, we're asking you to please listen to those merchants and those business owners who are trying to explain to you at least their rules for where their private property starts and where your rights have to be understood. So I do believe we're still saying, hey, weapons are okay, but concealed weapons with a permit are probably even better. So.
And let me add on, Chris, law enforcement in Pinellas County, we're trying to figure, because that's also in the bill, about trying to put on classes to educate people that do want to carry weapons. So myself, the sheriff, and other chiefs, we're looking at what do those classes look like, where we're going to host those classes. So again, carrying a gun is a huge responsibility, And the other thing, I'm sorry, I should have added on, if law enforcement shows up to a scene and you're carrying a weapon, I'm suggesting to you is do not try to pull the weapon out and show it to the officer. Let the officers do their job and just don't touch it, and obey the instructions that the officers are giving you at the time, either when they stop you or when something has happened. Put that gun away, because law enforcement is there.
Got it. Hey, so I know I see Big Al's on the line, and he does some stickers and posters. Christy, are we going to arrange, or Christy Livingston, are we arranging to see if we can provide some kind of resource for signage for members as well?
We are working on that, working on figuring that out at the moment. So TBD.
Great. All right. So if those of you are looking for signs, I would say we are gonna try to help buy local for those signs. I see Big Al; he's a sign and sticker maker for us. Ideally, we can see if we can get him to help us get our members the best deal on these things as possible, and the right language and all those things. Just so if you want to post what you need to post on it, you have at least information that others are going to see as well. Does that sound fair? Any other questions, Christy?
There was one, just a clarification. It says, so in a bar or restaurant, you cannot have a weapon in the bar area, but you can in the restaurant.
That is correct. And again, I suggest to all the bar owners here and managers, also get with your legal advisors, because you are going to get some people that test these laws to see what they can and cannot do. And, we want to make sure that you're not sued, just like we want to make sure officers are not sued. So just make sure you also, if you're not clear on this, I need any more clarity, get with your legal advisor on what you can do at your establishment.
Good deal.
That's all the questions I have. Does anyone else want to raise a hand or post a question while we have the chief here?
All right. I don't see any, but as I wrap up, if you have one, we'll be glad to do it. Police Chief Anthony Holloway, first of all, I do want to say thank you for what I believe was an amazing weekend of thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people in St. Pete in all different places. And you kept it very safe for all of us. And I appreciate that about it. So I just wanted to say, I don't know if everybody felt as safe as you felt knowing what was going on, but after just seeing how our community ran this weekend, I just want to say that's you, Police Chief Anthony Holloway, caring for all of us. And we all had great weekends because of the work you've done. So I just want to say thank you for that. I want to say thank you for your proactive ability for making sure that our members and all of our businesses understand their rights on this one when guns are introduced. So thank you for that as well. I believe we say every good conversation starts with or ends with, I love St. Pete. I believe it's because you are one of our two-time Good Burger winners. And so I want to say thank you for keeping us safe and sound throughout this process. Anything else from you, Police Chief?
Chris, I just want to thank you and your staff for everything. Again, like you're saying, being proactive. It was a great weekend. We only had 2 arrests. And like you said, for 100,000 people to make only 2 arrests, that says a lot about our community. That says a lot about the men and women that were doing the work. And the arrests were just misdemeanors, too much drinking. I'll just say that. So
yeah, I apologize about that.
To people.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Chief. I just had a little bit too much. That's just something happening.
We'll talk about that later, Chris.
All right. Whoops. All right. All right. Well, so I don't see any other hands. I do want to thank my staff, Christy and Bianca and Candace, for getting this together. Chief, thank you and your team for making sure we're safe. If you have any additional information, please send it to us. We will get it out to all of our members. For all of my members, we will send this video out to everybody. We'll post it. We've got the Chief's information online, and we'll put that back out. And we'll work with Big Al and others to get some signage to you as well. All right. And Christy, you've got something else because I see a finger.
We do have one more slide to do a preview of.
Oh, yeah. Let's do the preview real quick before people sign out. Tell them about the next one.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris, so much. So another bill that was signed into law, Senate Bill 1718, might have heard of this one, will also begin to be effective on July 1st, 2023. And we wanted to make sure that we had some knowledge from our legal background about the expanding E-Verify requirements. So we don't have a date for this yet, but it will be likely the week after 4th of July. So keep on our socials and email lists. We will be surely to update you about that. So we have the law firm of Stearns, Weaver, Miller, Wessler, Adolph, and Stitzler. They're wonderful partners and wonderful members. They have some board certified labor and employment lawyers that we're working with to help us navigate the E-Verify requirements that was signed into law on May 10th of this year. And there are currently 27 states that do mandate some form of E-Verify for employers. The new law will expand requirements for Florida businesses, including the most important thing for Florida employers with 25 or more employees is to register for the E-Verify portal now. And I will put that link in the chat and share that as well. That's something that you can navigate now, even before July 1st, and then be already into that system. Our summer intern, Sarah Michael from Florida State University, is actually working on an informative blog post that we will have out as well before that webinar. And we'll release the date of the webinar very soon as it's confirmed. So that's another important topic that we wanted to have our business community aware of in the coming weeks.
Beautiful. That's a good one. So please join us for that. Thank you all for getting that set up. If you have any other questions about how to help your business run, that's what we do here at the Chamber every day. We appreciate your membership. We appreciate you being part of St. Pete. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next time. Thanks.